Yo, what is up, guys? It's Travis, aka Travis, your dirty mystic main, and today I'm coming at you with a mid-game gearing guide. This is gonna basically take you from 500 gear score to 600 gear score, and this is gonna be through the lens of a mystic main and kind of going off of what I did myself. So it's kind of my opinion. You'll find a lot of different opinions, but most of the time, the steps in progression are going to be pretty similar. So from this point, you have all the try-suppress boss gear. You've done your main quest line and gotten try quest rings, earrings, and belt. And you also got the tri-syrup necklace, which is pretty cheap nowadays, so should be pretty good. You'll see the crystals that I have slotted here, kind of like the beginner crystals that you want. The main hand, you'd want the precision crystals, not the BMC ones yet, because those are kind of expensive. The magic critical hit crystals, assault crystals here, special attack evasion crystals. These won't change even once you get pen. And then you have your magic crystals for movement speed, and then your experience crystals. So kind of basically your foundation is you kind of want to be level 60 at this point, 600, 1600 SP, and once you get that, let's kind of go ahead and go into the gear progression. So at this point, you're grinding polys, so you kind of want to get Tent Dandy first, and the order of the weapons kind of is not as important because you're going to get them all to Tet anyway, but let's go ahead and get these all to Tet. So I would go Zarka next. Zarka for the accuracy, and it's your main hand. Alright, and at this point you could probably switch over to the black magic crystal precisions to get that ignore resist, because you're probably going to be flagged up upon or flagging up quite a bit on people at polys. And then last year you're going to swap out the suppressed Kudum for an actual Kudum. And this is kind of like your grinding stuff. You could have a Tetnuver on the side, but it's not going to be better for grinding until 261. So at this point, let's go ahead and go to the armors now. You could do your accessories because you don't need the DP, but I'm just going to start with the armor pieces first. That way you have like the base. So let's go ahead and go Beg's gloves and get that to Tet. And when you first start out as a beginner, definitely go DR. Don't worry about evasion. We'll get into evasion a little bit here, and maybe actually go from 600 to 630 gear score in this video as well. So Tet Bags, let's go Tet Dim next. It's kind of like counterclockwise, except for this next portion here. So once we get Tet Dim, we're going to go Tet Urgons. The Muskins are for an evasion build, and they're not that great for anything else other than the evasion build. So let's go ahead and go Tet Urgons. Alright, so we got our Tet Urgons now. And let's go ahead and switch out these crystals for better crystals. Now that we got our Tet boss gear, we don't want to have those placeholder crystals, we want to have the good crystals in here. Now, if you are scared of dying to mobs, might not be the best time to put the good crystals in, but they do make a huge difference, and you'll find out pretty soon. So let's go ahead and the helmet slot is kind of debatable. You can go pen heave and then that caphras that, and it's going to be more sheet DP than the Griffin, the Tet Griffin, or you could go Tet Griffin to complete your DR build. I would 100% go with heave, and we're going to go with heave for this build anyway. Alright, ultimate strength helmet of heave, and we're going to get that shit pen. It's going to be, 1-2 billion more than your Tet Griffin helmet, but 100% worth. And you can honestly do any of the cloth helms. You can do, if you're going to create it yourself, do something cheaper, such as the Fortuna helmet. Let's see what else is there. Fortuna helmet, definitely, and then I think the Hercules helmet. Alright, don't quote me. Go heave if you have any questions. Why heave over the other helmets? Let's go ahead and take a look here. It should be 2 hidden DR. So right now we're at 7 hidden DR. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Gorilla helmet. Yep, it's 2 hidden DR. So you could go Grinnell if you wanted to, but you lose that 2 hidden DR. Alright, so I'd 100% recommend going the cloth helms, and I personally went Heave. Now, I would definitely get this like C3, give you 2 DP to make this 80 sheet DP. Caphras leveling is going to be something I do quite a bit for our build. Alright, so now we're going to go to accessories. So first, you probably can hit level 61 really easily just by questing in Drigan, and that'll give you the Capotia ring. That's going to be 4 AP increase here, putting us at 231, 233. And this whole, wait, 230, 232. Now, this build has been made with the assumption that you finish your longs, your Bartali, your D's, and Heralds. Potentially, you'll do them earlier or later, but these are things that you want to complete 100%, because without this, you lose 4 AP DP, alright? Without the D's, you lose 1 AP. Without the Heralds, you lose 1 DP, sheet DP. So definitely complete these when you can. I know as a new player, it's going to be pretty darn awful, but you learn a lot about the game by doing these, and I remember hating it, but I'm glad that they're out of the way now. So you get level 61, you get the Capotia ring, and now you could melt accessories to get 325 Yona fragments to swap this out to make another Capotia ring, or you could get Tri-Crescent. Now, depending on your temperament, Tri-Crescent might be blown up and you might lose it. So personally, I would just go Capotia ring. Capotia ring is not something you'll be able to sell, but it is something that you can't blow up. Alright, so we got our Capotia rings now. While we're grinding to level 62, it's time to start replacing these accessories. So first I would replace the belt since it's cheaper. I'd go Bassi in this case. You could go Valtara, but you're going to probably want to sit the Valtara at Tet anyways. So we got our Tri-Bassi, and we want to get the Tri-Ogre, alright? So those are going to be the next upgrades that we make. And at this point, we're about 4 AP on the main hand away from grinding Hystria, 2 AP on the Awakening hand. Alright, so the next step in this portion is really going to be grinding 62. 62 will give you the Capotia ring, and Capotia ring is without question the earring that you should go with 100% of the time. And then you should probably get this second Capotia earring instead of going Tri-Tungrad, okay? Now the Capotia earrings are what, no question, get double Capotia earrings. The Capotia ring can be questionable for Tri-Crescent, alright? So we've done this. Now it's time to go for our Tet accessories. But before we go our Tet accessories, this is kind of where you go to Hystria at. You could potentially get this to C3, alright? Oh, and also, I forgot to switch out these crystals. You want to switch these crystals to Humes at this point, because you're going to Hystria, and you want that tankiness. Alright, so let's go ahead and get these ready for the tankiness of Hystria. And by this point, I probably would have had C7 my Heave just from passively grinding polys, and I would C3 my weapons. With the 95% extraction update, before you can only extract 85%, now you can extract 95%, and there's a 20% reduction going from C1 to C4, so it's definitely worth it to get these to C3 to get the 3 AP that you get from caphrassing it. Caphras level 4 probably not worth it because you don't get any sheet AP. So at this point you're grinding Hystria. Your money per hour is much better than Poly's was and will ever be. You're probably not gonna caphras level your Kudum. Now it's Tet accessory time. Now at this point I'd actually go Tet belt first. Now you could go Valtara for the HP or Bazzi. I'm just gonna go Bazzi because it's cheaper, and you can sell your Tri-Bazzi belt to get your Tet Bazzi belt. if that makes sense. You'd be swapping it out. If you're enhancing it, kudos to you, you probably might just lose it. So, if you're enhancing it, I would do Valtara belt. If you're not enhancing it, Tet Bassi is pretty good. Then you want to switch out the ring slots for the crescent rings. Crescent or Eye of Ruins. Eye of Ruins will give you HP, 100 HP, but they're like 2 billion more right now, so I wouldn't recommend them unless you like to wait 4 billion for your ring slots to be filled. Let's go ahead and get this crescent. Let's get it Tet, and then we're just gonna get another Tet crescent. All right, so the grind is getting a little bit harder here. The upgrades are in the ballpark of 7 billion as of today's date for each of these rings. Now we're gonna get Tet necklace. This is gonna be your long grind. This is gonna be your 10 billion grind. All right, so you're gonna get that, and then it's Vel's heart next, pretty much standard, and then it's Tet earrings at this point. So you could go Tet narcs, you could go Tet tongue rags. It's dependent on what you want. If you want to hit the 269 AP bracket, tongue rads are the way to go, but they're twice as expensive as a Tet narc. So expect this tongue rad earring to take 2 times as long to start to fill up, but it does give you important brackets like 269 and 270, or 269 brackets in both hands, and this would be a pretty good pretty good place to start grinding for your pen weapons. Now, personally, I would say for Mystic, it's more worth it to go the Narc. That way you can grind Secrea as soon as possible, because Secrea is way better money than Histria, let me tell you. It was definitely worth to go to double net Narc, because now you're pretty much at the DP where you could start it. Now 324, pretty darn low, and with the caphras reduction to get to level C4, I would definitely C4 my boss armor here, which is what I did, and that's gonna put you at the 331 DP bracket. Really good, really good. And at this point, I'd probably have my Heath helmet C9 at least, but C11 will feel pretty good. No, it's actually C13 will give you that 339 DP bracket, and this is kind of basically the stopping point for Tet gear in general, and then you'd be building up the pens. Once you get to this point, hopefully you understand what you're going to be doing, but I can kind of go over my plan is at the moment. So I'd probably go Pen Dandy, which I do. I have Pen Dandy already, so I have Pen Dandy already. Get that to C3. Pen Zarka, get that to C3. And then Pen Kudum. So I know most people would say wait on your Pen Kudum, but I kind of just want to get that out of the way so that all my weapons are Pen. Then I'd make the swap to Evasion build, and swapping, you can swap at Tet for sure, but I kind of want to swap at Pen, and I'd probably get that to C4. And when you make the swap, you can't do just one part, otherwise you scuff your build. You want to do both parts at the same time. Alright, so C4 Pen Libers, C4 Tet Muskins. Now at this point, let's go ahead and, this would be Fury, by the way. I'll definitely get a Garma's heart for it. Now it's time to get Pen Dim. Also at this point, we'd be switching out our crystals to Evasion crystals here, because we're Evasion build. So don't forget that. And you probably want to put Hooms in here as well. It's a Han Hoom, my bad. To get that extra tankiness. Alright, so we're well on our way, and we've also hit the 346 DP bracket. Forgot about that. So at this point, the next logical step is to get Pen Muskins, and then we have it all at C4. And now is kind of when I would personally just go the tongue rad route to get 3 AP here. Alright, it's going to be pretty expensive, but worthwhile in my opinion. So now this puts you at 277 bracket on both hands. I would definitely start getting these up to C6. Alright, so C6. start caphras. So we're at C6 now. Then I would start swapping out the narcs for distortions. And you're probably thinking, you lose 4 DP and 4 damage reduction, why are you swapping out the distortions? Well, that's so you can swap out the tongue rad belt for Centaurus belt and still be above 261. And if with another Tet distortion, you'll be above 269 brackets, which is going to be much more tanky. Of course, most people will probably catch you with your tongue grab belt on in open world, but definitely have your Tet Centaurus belt on quick slot. I don't like to swap out the necklace slot because the Sissels doesn't give as much evasion as the Centaurus does. So this is the belt slot is probably the slot that's most worth switching out. Alright, and this from this point, it'd be C9 here. You can start trying to get tankier. And then once you get here, potentially C7 weapons here. And that's like a lot of silver right there. So you're at their 650 gear score, and then it's pen time. And at this point, each upgrade is going to be very, very, very painful. All right. So this would be like a content. I'd be pretty content with this. Maybe pen this. I'd be pretty content here. All right. So this is Travis, the mid-game to end-game gearing guide. I hope this helped you, mystics that have been playing recently, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are at the suppressed boss gear point and are kind of trying to think ahead or down the line. A lot of the stuff that I say right now could be outdated once, you know, new stuff comes out, like the Dead God armor. You'd want this C10 so you could exchange it, etc., etc. But this is kind of the route that I think most people would go as a mystic. Some might swap evasion earlier, but I think swapping it later should be fine. Alright, so this has been Travesty. Deuces. Peace.